Hey friends, what's up? This is Metro and today we're gonna go over the best Infernus build in the game, in action. I promised a video, last video, where we go over an entire replay of the build, how to play it on at any stage of the game, and how to carry a team and how to unironically just 1v6. This is the hardest 1v6 character I have ever seen in this game in any patch. It is completely bonkers broken, and this game I think is a perfect example because in this game, I'm not going to spoil too much, but my team was struggling really hard and we had to hold it together, and maybe we did. Let's see. Christmas is around the corner. We got the Christmas skin. I actually really like the new Christmas skins. But yeah, let's get into laning stage. We are laning against Yamato, and Yamato is one of the best laners in the game, but sadly Infernus is even better because Infernus is absolutely bonkers in lane, absolutely broken. So, we want to play passive in this lane until 2200 souls, okay? This entire build revolves around our Flame Dash, and our big power spike in the lane. Our big power spike in the lane is the Flame Dash at 2200 souls. And I like how I say we want to play passive in this lane, but I already go aggro in the first fight. Let's see what happened again. So the reason I went aggro here is we pushed the lane faster than him, right? Like I got 2 creeps down pretty fast before he even got one of mine. So we actually kind of end up losing the lane, or winning the lane control here. And he goes in to get the melee on the creep, at which point I knew he was too close and I could get a free burn off. And Infernus is one of the few characters that can trade pretty efficiently with Yamato early on, because as long as you get the burn off, right, you will come out at least even on trades against any character in the game in a 1v1, right? So as long as you get burns off, you can win the exchanges. So yeah, at this point we traded his HP for mine, so I slow down the pace a tiny bit. Miss a creep there is actually quite unlucky, but we slow down the pace a tiny bit, and as soon as I'm above 500 and we push the lane, I go for my first item here, which is going to be Ammo Scav, I think. Ammo Scav is just going to make it so we get more spirit damage, which is going to increase our damage of the burn, and more importantly the Flame Dash, once we get the combo going, once we get to 2.2k. So until then, we are kind of weak, and we have to play kind of back, right? At least we can't go for a kill, unless the enemy is like mega overextended. But the enemy Yamato is playing it pretty safe here behind the tower. So we cannot overcommit here. Right? So the way we keep lane control is we make sure we go for the last hits, and we try to kind of put pressure on... try to put pressure on the enemy creeps. As long as our creeper is pushing into him, we can, you know, get pretty... We can get trades in, we can get damage onto him without him being able to really damage me. And we can also obviously get denies way easier. Yeah. So, not much to say about this. Other than, yeah, we're a bit ahead, right? Because he's low. And as soon as he, like, you know, if I see him peek for too long, I put pressure on him to where he has to back out or take a burn. And yeah, we just kind of slow it down. Make sure we get every soul last hit as well, because again, Ammo Scav goes up with the soul last hits, right? So we want to make sure to secure them. Says Metro, and gets denied immediately. But yes, very solid lane so far. And notice as soon as I see him be a bit overcommitted, I go for the burn on him. And right here, I took quite a lot of tower damage for 2 souls. Probably still worth it. But now I have to really back out. I also have over $1,000 Renos, or Solar Renos, whatever you call them in this game. So we go for next to items, Infuser, Rapid Rounds. This entire build is public under Metro Dash Infernus in-game. And if you haven't checked out last video, it's a video where I go over every single item in the build, what I buy when, in what situation, and how the build works. But yeah, we're really here to learn what we can get away with and how we get our kills. So our first kill window is coming up very soon here, because we're at 2.1k, and again at 2.2 you will see me level up Flame Dash to level 2. Okay, and at this point I have no points in Afterburn and I have no points in Catalyst. And we have 2 points in Flame Dash, and we're also, spoilers, gonna go for max Flame Dash before we level up anything else. So here is where we really want to start looking for a burn on the enemy. Now this Yamato is playing pretty safe. So we want to look for a burn and then a dash into them, right? And the only way the enemy can really live is if they are far enough away to where we can't like just dash right into their face. Because as soon as we connect with the Flame Dash, we extend the burn and we do insane damage with the Flame Dash itself, which adds up to a total of 800, 900 damage if we pop Infuser also, right? So here, notice, I'm looking, right? I'm looking, and I was right there, I was determining if the Yamato was close enough to where I can get the Flame Dash off. But she's just a tiny bit too far away. If I started dashing right now, I would not get to her until she's at the tower, and at that point it's a dive and I overcommit and I probably die, right? So right there I determine I can't get her, so I just pop Infuser for the extra damage and the lifesteal it's gonna give me. So, and we keep the lane control. So the Yamato is actually not doing very badly, but again, for how oppressive Yamato is in lane usually, I think this is a very good example of the strength of Infernus. Like, it's just very scary in lane, and if you play him properly, the enemy really can't do much. Yeah, so he's playing very safe, right? He's playing very safe. He's the same HP as I am, he's not even that low. But he's playing behind his tower, so, you know, I go for the last hits, got 2 denies there. And I'm looking for an opening. I do have my ult here, so maybe we could, if I get a burn off, I could possibly tower dive. But I think it's pretty risky still at this point. I'm really low, I actually took a lot of tower damage, but he did overcommit here, funnily enough. But he's playing it pretty well again, right? So he actually went in here, which allowed me to get a burn off. If I hit the dash on him now, the Flame Dash, he's 100% dead, right? So I tried to go for it. Don't go too far because I'm also really, really low and I don't have Infuser, right? So I don't even have any lifesteal at all. So I couldn't have gone further, and he barely dodges it and lives because he avoided the Flame Dash. So that was well done by him. But I know he's even lower than I am right now, health-wise. So we can kind of keep the pressure up, at least get some damage on the tower. But notice as soon as he peeks out, I go back to trying to get the burn on the enemy. In the meanwhile, I bought extra spirit, which we're gonna upgrade later, extra stamina and basic magazine, and this is like our build for the lane done. And everything after this is mid-game builds. But yeah, like we didn't really do much, you know? We didn't really hardcore outplay the enemy, but we won the lane pretty easily, or we're up in lane, right? We're 3.6k, whereas he's on 3.1. And we have way more damage on his tower than he does on mine, which I think he has 0 damage on our tower, so... Yeah, I noticed he's farming the creep camps here, so I'm looking for him. I don't know, this was mega greedy by him. So the funny thing is, he probably thought he could live here, and it was actually pretty close. So he had ult, right, and he popped it at the right time. I kind of misplayed this, to be honest, because this wouldn't have been as close if... I know if I don't misplay here, I can kill him with the Flame Dash. But what I should have done here is parry the tower, so I don't take the melee damage from the tower. One thing you have to keep in mind against Yamato, when she pops ult, the burn extinguishes, okay? So the burn is not active anymore, so I don't do the extended damage with a Flame Dash. But like at this point it's 1 HP, so I know if I hit him with any of the burn of the Flame Dash, he dies. And he does die. Ended up being a very close trade actually, and could have backfired, right? If he maybe hit 1 or 2 more left clicks on me. But that was kind of my fault for not parrying. So at this point the lane is most definitely won, right? We're at 4.6k, he's at 3. But overall the game is pretty even so far. In fact, it's exactly even. We have the exact same soul count per team. Now we go for Soul Shredder. Our first form of like lifesteal that we're always gonna have active, and the Spirit Arm, right? Like this is just an insane item on Infernus. And I go back on lane, and this is really here you can really see the power of this character, right? So I mean, at this point we're a bit ahead, right? We're 1,000 ahead, but this is the first time the enemy Yamato has not played safe, right? Like she noticed I wasn't on lane, so she thought it was safe for her to be in the lane. But look what happens as soon as she is a bit too far forward, right? At this point, she's full HP. We go in, dash in, get the rollout, get the... What is with this cam? What is this cam bug? Please, Valve. Okay, so we dash in, get behind her, apply burn, immediately pop Infuser, and yeah, run after her. And the funny thing is, I don't even think we needed the ult. Like in this case, it finished her off, but with the extension of the burn, she was most definitely dead no matter what. So yeah, that's that's the strength of Infernus. And we're gonna do that a lot this game, where we just, as soon as we hit the burn on her, we just run into her and kill her. And that goes for everyone, by the way. That's gonna be our entire gameplay loop. Okay, so, by the way, we are saving up our ability points to max out Flame Dash, right? Because this is a dash build, and we're also gonna go for... We're also gonna go for rapid recharge at the same time. And this build lines up really beautifully, because by the time we get to the 3k souls we need for rapid recharge now, we're also gonna have the level 5 Flame Dash. It's almost gonna be at the exact same time. Anyways, Yamato came back into lane and thought it was safe for her to just slash me. But funnily enough, this is actually very dangerous to do against Infernus, because I can just get the burn off, right? And I know, well, at this point she has ult again, but I know I can trade, at this point I most definitely can trade very favorably. So what happens is, I burn and immediately pop Infuser, puke on her, and run into her. That's all we do, right? That's all we do. And right there, what I did, by the way, was run a bit behind her, right? I could have turned around earlier and kept on shooting, but like you kind of want to make sure that she stays in the fire for as long as possible. So I ran a bit past her. She didn't pop ult, but the funny thing is she would have died, I think, either way. Even if she pops ult, she's most definitely dead there, right? And that was not even close. We're basically back to 4. She says insane damage, and it is. That wasn't even close, even though we dove past the tower, right? So yeah. Yeah, and at this point in the game, I think I misplay a bit. Well, no, not really misplay, but I think I'm trying to keep pressure up on the walker. What I probably should have done here is, as soon as I get rapid recharge and as soon as I get my flame dash to a maximum level, I should probably help my team. Because, well, I was gonna say at this point, we're looking pretty bad, but we're actually not looking bad. We're looking pretty good. That was actually a pretty close fight. But as you notice, it did not matter. And it is at this point where I realized I actually went for the wrong replay. This was a replay where we rolled pretty hard. Okay, false alarm. This actually turned out to be the right replay. Yamato, I farm her to tier 2 camp, right? Yamato comes up. And at this point, I don't know why she's fighting me. It actually turned out way closer than the fight should have been. Which I guess makes sense because she had ult. But notice, we just keep on kiting her. We keep the burn up, right? And the lifesteal is going to do the rest of the work. And that was actually pretty fucking close. So I could have backed out earlier there. I could have just used the flame dash to get out as soon as she ulted to play safe, right? Would have probably been the more solid choice. But I like testing limits, and I think a big part of becoming a really good player in this game is knowing what you can get away with, and right there I did not get punished. And now we have rapid recharge, which means every single creep on the map is gonna die in 1 second, and nobody can catch us anymore unless they have like multiple people jumping us, right? The funny thing is, against this comp, Infernus is actually quite tricky to play because they have a lot of hard stuns, right? They have Black Hole, they have Mo and Krill ult, they have Warden, who probably has Slowing Hex, let me check. So the Warden has Slowing Hex, they have a 7 stun, right? The Warden can trap me, so they have a lot of things here that can kill me. And we're gonna see in this game how you can get around that, right? While still playing aggressive. So I have Rapid Recharge, which means creep camps die insanely fast. And I keep on my side of the lane and just farm as efficiently as possible. Here I go for the tier 3 camp, but I realize the Yamato still hasn't learned his lesson, right? At this point I killed her 3 times, and I figured she wouldn't push as far, but she still pushed out the lane. And at this point I didn't punish her because, you know, I didn't expect her to push the lane that far. But as soon as I notice the creeps go to my as soon as I notice the creeps are pushing into my tower, I go back to lane immediately, right? A lot of people would make the mistake of staying on the tier 3 camp and finishing it off. But what that would do is, A, the tower might go down or take at least a lot of damage, but more importantly, I will miss those 4 creeps. And those 4 creeps are 400 bucks, right? I can always go back to the tier 3 camp and finish it later, but the creeps will disappear and they will disappear forever, right? It's lost money. So I'll go back in lane and make sure the lane is pushed. And then I will go back to farming creep camps, right? And with this build, tier 3 camps go down insanely fast. So there's really no creep camp on the map that is like not efficient to farm for me as an Infernus here. It's 10 minutes, so I look for the bridge buff. I noticed nobody picked left bridge buff, so I go for it. It's extra stamina, so that's even nicer for me. I don't really need it on Infernus because I have so much mobility with the flame dash now, right? So I push out the lane completely. I get some more last hits on the souls to keep my ammo scavenger stacks up, and I immediately go to the tier 3 camp, right? And the farming cycle of this is always the same. You make them burn and then you flame dash through them, and probably didn't even need that second flame dash there to farm, but like, you know, by the time I know they're dead, I go back and get the gold statues. Just efficiency. The Yamato is still very good at actually keeping the lane pushed. So we push the lane back, and here is where my team actually kind of starts falling apart. It's still very even in money, but you're gonna notice my team is gonna take a lot of unfavorable team fights here, and we're gonna start falling behind as a team. So here's where I should have probably looked for kills, because at this point I'm really truly unkillable if I play correctly, and I can punish any person on the other team overextending. But instead I play pretty passive, and I go for the creep camps, which is not necessarily the wrong choice, right? If the enemy team plays safe, I know the Yamato is on the left lane, so it's really a 5v5 for my team otherwise on the map, right? But they will struggle here, so I could have also decided to gank more. But there's really no right or wrong choice. It really comes down to experience, and in this case I thought it was more beneficial to keep up the farm and keep up the pressure on the left side of the map, which I think in the long run will turn out to be the correct choice, even though my team is gonna fall behind, because I'm snowballing incredibly hard. And if you notice my money, I'm highest net worth in the game, and we haven't even reached the peak efficiency of farming, right? The only person that's kind of close to us is the Warden on the enemy team. But yeah, I'm insanely strong. Push out the lane, see the Yamato, get the burn off just to get the lifesteal. And I go for a kill here, or try to force a kill. She ults, and again, it's very close, and this might seem risky to you, but I was pretty sure I was just being safe. And if she chased me any further, she would have died to the burn, right? So this really comes down to your experience at learning what you can get away with, and the only way to really learn this is playing the character a lot, right? Like, the more you learn a character, the more you realize what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. So it's just an experience thing. And in the end, it turned out to be a good trade for me, because I forced the Yamato ult. Yeah, I ulted as well, but my ult is really not that important in the grand scheme of things. Most of my damage right now comes from my flame dash and my burn. And I don't think I would need the ult, like, in any scenario, like in the next, like, you know, few seconds. So it's not bad trading ults here. Yeah, and at that point I realized the Yamato is like actually like always coming back to the lane and always pushing back to my tower, and I really don't want to give up my tower because the enemy doesn't have flex slots yet, right? We still have 3 normal towers alive, 3 guardians alive. So as long as I keep mine up and one other walker in the middle stays up, or a guardian, sorry, they don't get a flex slot. So it's 100% essential that I keep this tower safe. So by putting pressure on their walker, I divert their attention, and I'm about to die. Because I ran through the walker for no reason, and that was a really poor play by me. I do this a lot on Infernus. So if you bait the first melee smash of the walker, and then you run through, you can run through very easily, and it actually does a lot of damage to the walker. But right here, as soon as I realized the Yamato was behind me, I should have just backed out the other way. This was a mega greedy play. Because if I live here and the tower doesn't stomp me, the Yamato can't really follow me because there's a flame trail, right? And I get the creep wave and keep the creep wave pushed, but this was just a horrible play by me. And a misplay for sure. So yeah, unlucky. We're dead, but it's okay. This is gonna be the only mistake I make this game, surely. So I realized my Abrams respawned before me and he's going to defend the yellow, so I went for the middle of the map and now I'm looking to get our flex slot. We just got it because we just got the purple tower. But I go for another tower. And here is another example of how to engage in this fight. This person seems very safe, right? Like the Bebop seems very safe behind his tower, but in fact, he can die very easily. How? I get the burn. I get the burn from a distance, and as soon as I realize I have the burn, again, what do? We pop Infuser, we pop Flame Dash, and we puke on them, and they're dead. That's how much damage it does. Right now, he's basically full HP, and then run through, puke, make sure the flame trail hits him, and he's dead. And that's the entire gameplay loop of this Infernus playstyle, basically. So we lost yellow because my Abrams ended up dying to the Yamato, so not the greatest choice. And now we're actually falling very far behind, right? We're falling very far behind. My entire team is actually kind of feeding, and we're now 10k behind suddenly, or 8k behind. And my entire team is basically negative, other than me and my Shiv, I guess. So I realized at this point, well, I really can't afford dying here. I'm still highest net worth in the lobby. I need to stay alive and I need to make sure to get objectives, right? I could AFK farm here. There's a lot of farm in my jungle, right, that I could take, but I instead decide to put pressure on them because I know it forces them to rotate. And if I make multiple people rotate without dying, that's already a win because my team is gonna have more space to push out other lanes and farm the jungle, right? Whereas if I made the standard play that everyone in this game does, all the way up to Eternus, which is like going back and being passive and farming, right? We're gonna end up falling more and more behind. If you're behind as a team, what you wanna do is you wanna look for pickoffs, getting kills, right? Having team fights, and pushing objectives. That's the most important part. This is like the biggest mistake I see anyone do in this game. They fall behind and they're scared of the enemy team. And they play very safe and only farm their side of the jungle, and they keep on falling behind more and more. Why? Enemy has more map control, they can get easy pickoffs, they can push objectives, and you're sitting there falling more and more behind, right? So it's the exact wrong play. I'm not saying if you're behind that you should run into them and just kill them, right? My team is obviously behind in money, so it's very scary for my team to fight, but I am a farm person on my team. I need to do something actively here, right? I will not win this game by sitting around and getting more money, because then my team is gonna suffer more and more, right? So I go for the walker, and this looks like a really aggressive play, right? They're rotating. They have 3 people coming. The Yamato is already in my face with torment pulls. Let's see what happens. Yamato comes in, and the first thing I always do, even if they gank you, even if you think there's like 3 people on you, it is insanely essential to get a burn off on one person. Because this burn is going to give us lifesteal, it's going to give our health back, and it's going to allow us to get even more lifesteal with the Flame Dash and the Catalyst, right? Catalyst and Flame Dash by themselves don't do a lot of damage. They only do a lot of damage when you have the burn on them active. So the first thing I did was get the burn off, and immediately when I get the burn off, I use the Catalyst and I use the Flame Dash to get the damage in. And right here, I think this is a great example of how amazing this build works. Slowing Hex doesn't matter if they don't get the Slowing Hex off after you run, right? So Warden seems really scary against you on paper, but he's not as long as you don't get caught out completely off guard, right? I start the dash, and at this point, the Warden is on me, and he's using Slowing Hex, and he's gonna use Binding Word, but my dash is gonna be active for long enough to where I can get out. And because the Infernus is burning and I'm dashing through both enemies, I will get insane lifesteal and they won't be able to kill me. So I run away, get out of the Binding Word, and then I have... Sorry for pausing again, but I have to get this out, right? So I get the dash out, the Binding Word, and as soon as I'm out of the Binding Word, I have this downtime real quick where I can't dash for 3 seconds and I get another burn off, right? Or try to get another burn off and I dash again, ult, right? Keep on running and get another burn off. And we run again. And so all of a sudden, we're winning a 3 versus 1 under their tower. And they can't do anything against me, right? How are they gonna kill me? Look at the lifesteal, right? Make sure to reapply the burn. One is gonna die. The Yamato actually lives with 1 HP. So at this point it's only Bebop. Get the burn off. Another catalyst. And the fight is over. Mo and Krill comes in. Another flame dash. Another burn. And we're out. For free. Haven't lost anything. And my team is actually securing the urn. And that was an insanely essential fight. Because if you look at the game before, right? We're 10k behind at this point. The enemy is actually so cocky that they pick up the urn and try to get to our our drop spot because they're so far behind. But after this is all done here, we're back to even basically because we're gonna deposit the urn. And yeah, I mean at this point I'm so far ahead, it is insane. And during this entire fight, I wasn't even close to dying. That's the craziest part, right? It looked like really aggressive what I was doing, but like this character just can't die if you play it properly. Unless the enemy catches you off guard, right? If I get caught off guard and he slowing hexes me and binding wards me before I can get the flame dash off, that is really scary. And that's one thing we want to avoid. Back to farming. You know, lanes are pretty equal right now. I realize there's 2 people of my team on the yellow lane, so there's no real reason for me to be here. And here, I just look for what to go for. But I look at what to go for. I realize my shift is going left, so I'm going right, going for the tier 3 camp. And then I see the enemy is pushing out the right lane. So after, I'll probably go right lane and make sure this right walker of ours is safe. Again, farming speed of this is insane. Instant death to the 3 camp. And as soon as I see an enemy, burn, run in, puke at them, and make sure they get hit. Right, puke again. Okay. So, it is incredibly deceiving for the enemy how fast they can die, right? Like this guy thinks he's safe because he also has a warden close to him. I get the combo off, and at this point he's dead. Look at the damage he's taking, right? Look at he's gonna burn to death. And here, I get caught by the binding word. And this seems scary, but I'm now in a 1v1. I'm so farmed. I'm not even that far ahead actually. I'm only 4k ahead of the warden. But this is the power of Infernus. Burn. Catalyst. And now, yeah, I can just trade with him. In his ult. It doesn't matter. His ult is out. Another flame dash and he's dead. I actually think they kind of need to fix it. It is too strong. You have too many flame dashes in this build. You basically have like 4 or 5 flame dashes and 4 or 5 catalysts without cooldown. Okay. Well, my team is still dying somehow, by the way, while I was winning a 2v1 on my side of the lane. But the dynamo comes back. And what do we do when we see an enemy? Burn and then run into them. The dynamo comes in. Burn, catalyst, and run into them. Dodged his stun. Or his uppercut, whatever you call it. And here I realize it's kind of scary, so I pop ult. Here I realize it's kind of scary because the warden was coming in also, so I pop ult. He dodges it, but he misses the black hole. So unlucky for him. Burn, dash, and now they kill. And I'm low here at this point, right? I'm really low. Burn. And I'm low. So we dash away. And we're back to 800 health. And we're out. And I'm sorry, I don't know why the overlay is so buggy. It doesn't show the numbers correctly. I was getting very low there. I was at 200 HP. And I have a max HP of, what is it? Yeah, I have a max HP of, I think, like 2,200 right now or something, if I were to guess. So I realize they're pushing next lane. Burn. Dash. Puke. Infuser. And this is not gonna end well for him, because he's burning. So is that... Ah, this build is so silly. And yes, obviously we can also use the dash to farm, right? Here I realize my paradox is being ulted. Burn. Catalyst. Not the best movement by me. Dash. Run after him. I realize there's two and they teleport out. This is very scary. At this point I actually do have a cooldown on my dash because I used like 4 dashes in the last 2 seconds, so I back out instead. You know, I could have committed there, but I would have probably resulted in my death because there was 3 people there. So good time to back out. And again, there's no downtime in this, right? Back to farming. This tier 3 camp dies in exactly 1 second. Okay. My team is fighting. Look for the burn. Didn't get it there. And here I actually run out of bullets. So I just run through him. But I have to reload. He dies anyways. Next kill. Yeah, this is a very good fight for us. We're just up in numbers. I think we would have won that 3v3 as well. But funnily enough, this game is still somehow completely even. In fact, we're down a walker, right? And they still have every single walker up. So this game is anything but won, because while I'm insanely powerful and I have so much money, my team is behind in general, right? Like every other person on my team is behind, so I need to do more, right? And I really haven't spent that much time farming, right? I've killed the tier 3 camps that were on the way because they're so fast, but in general I look for kills. And again, run in, right? And I'm trying to go for the kill here. This is very safe because I know I have dashes, right? So I know I can get out. I also have ult if it gets really risky. But here, I realize it's a bit too far. So I back out, didn't get the kill there. So I go back to fixing lanes. And making sure to help out my team. And at this point I really want to start getting walker kills because we need more flex slots, obviously. So I push the walker. And this seems really dumb, and maybe it is, but I like doing this. I actually go for dashes to the walkers, because it also does insane damage to walkers. And it's gonna take like 400 HP off me if he stuns me, but I'm pretty safe because I have the lifesteal and now I'm back to full, you know? And here, I actually misplay. I remember this fight. I could have won this. I actually misplay here. And I'll explain to you what I did wrong. So here the warden comes in. I get the burn. And I do the correct play where I get out of the binding ward. But now I wait here, right? And the warden is burning. And he's gonna burn for another few seconds, right? So if I hit him with the flame dash or the catalyst in another few seconds, there's a really good chance he dies. But instead, I shoot the Yamato, and the Yamato is ult, and this is really a bad choice, right? What I should have done is I should have kept on shooting the warden and ran through the warden. But here I try to go for the Yamato, and then I realize he has ult. So I change target and go down to get the warden, but in the end I end up missing both of them, right? And at this point, I'm actually dead, because I also get black holed. But the funny thing is, there were how many people were on me? 4 or 5? If they didn't black hole me, I would have still lived right there, right? Because I have so much lifesteal. And so this was a bad choice. If I go for the warden right away, I'm fine. And here I run away, but again, he captures me last second. I am probably fine if he doesn't black hole. Because yes, the Yamato can grapple after me, but the enemy would... 3 people would have to run through my flame dash, so I still have enough lifesteal to live, right? But because I get Black Hole, I die. So this actually didn't turn out to be that bad, because for the first time ever, we have map control, and my team actually capitalizes, and we get 2 walkers for it, which is really good, obviously, right? So it's still an amazing trade, because we just got an insane map control. We got a flex slot for me dying, which, yeah, it's bad that I die, because I have so much net worth that the enemy gets a lot of money from killing me, right? But it's still worth in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, the enemy used Black Hole, they used a lot of resources on me, and we end up getting 2 walkers for it. So now we're up walkers, and if we get the last walker dead, we get 2 flex slots, right? So we're looking pretty good. In this game, I actually upgraded to Boundless Spirit instead of going for anything else early, because I didn't have a flex slot, right? So yeah, I went for Boundless just to save the flex slot, and now as soon as we get the flex slot, I go for one of my survivability items, which is Metal Skin. Another thing I did differently this time in this build, I went for Toxic Bullets instead of Healbane. The reason I like Toxic Bullets in this game is they have a lot of lifesteal on Warden, on Moen Krill, and on Dynamo, right? So usually I like to go for Healbane, but in this game I didn't really have a slot for Healbane. I could have sold extra stamina, I guess. But I like the Toxic Bullets in this build. They're both great choices. So we engage in the fight. Okay, this is ridiculous, by the way. This is ridiculous. This is gonna be the most ridiculous thing you've seen, okay? So we go in, right? They're trying to get our tower. We go in, I get the burn off. And I try to run through him, but I get Black Hole. Because he is a refresher. And then I get grabbed. But because there was so much stuff on the floor, we still live. And we end up living. And now the lifesteal, we're just back, right? And the funny thing is they both heavy meleeed me there. If I parry, they both die. So I kind of misplayed that. But yes. As long as you keep burns up, you're fine. Look at the lifesteal. This is ridiculous. So we ended up on top of this fight, even though the enemy actually played it perfectly, right? They used both of their massive cooldowns on me, but they just still couldn't end up killing me because I started the fight off by getting a burn and the dash off on the Warden, which gives me so much lifesteal. And I'm pretty sure that both the Moen Krill and the Dynamo also sat in my flame dash, which gave me more survivability. So yeah, at this point I fix lanes, because I'm the fastest at fixing lanes. My team is doing mid. I called this for my team. And the only person that could have stealed the rejuve is the Yamato. And luckily my team plays it well enough to where we get the last hit on the rejuve. So now we're up. And we have a pretty decent lead in this game. I don't know why I'm still farming. Like, we're so rich. Yeah, so we have rejuve. I realize my team is fighting around the last walker. So I come in and try to help them out. And I think we're in for another ridiculous fight here, by the way. So we're already down 1. We're already down 2, funnily enough. Okay, so I'll go with this fight step by step. Because I think, again, it shows quite beautifully how you play this build. So first thing, again, I look for is a burn. So I look for burn. Get the burn. And I use my shift and run. I know with Metal Skin on, they won't be able to kill me during my run, right? And the enemy Dynamo plays it pretty well here. And actually goes for the Translocate. So they actually end up living. It looked like a really good ult because there were like 4 people. And obviously I don't have all the info, so I didn't know if the Dynamo already used his Translocate here. So I would probably play it the same way again. Right? But yeah, I go in. They get saved. But the Warden still dies because I had so much burn on him. So immediately I look for the next target to burn. And there's so much happening. I'm sorry, I know I'm rewinding a lot, but I'll go over this again. Right, so as soon as we kill the Warden, I go for the next burn. And here I go in, get the burn, and as soon as I see I get the burn, I will dash after him. I know there's a Bebop on me that's currently fucking me, but I I'm going for the burn, and I'm looking to extend the burn on the Moon Krill, and we get it. So, next person. Burning, run through. Try to get the next burn, didn't get it quite yet, so now I have to reload. So I reload. Burn. He's dead. Burn. He's dead. And yeah, I mean, if you just looked at that fight, that is ridiculous. I don't know a single other character that can pull that off. What you just saw. That's, I think it's really ridiculous what this character can do. So at this point, they're all dead. We still have rejuve, right? So we go into the base. I see if I can get the kill, but I realize he's too close to his spawn, so I don't go for it. Get the shrines. Burn the guardians to get more lifesteal, to get my health back to full. And we're playing it kind of safe until I see the enemy is a bit too far forward. Go in. And dash. And again, while they're not dying here, they can't really do much, right? I get hooked. And I think I end up dying here. Which I deserve that, right? I got hooked into the spawn while my team actually left here. And I called for my team to fight. So the funny thing is, I think if my team fights here, we actually just live. But it's still my fault, right? I went too aggressive while my team was backing out. But even there, we almost end up living. So yeah, doesn't really matter much because we have the rejuve. So now we're just looking to end this game. Finished up my slots with Mystic Slow. And just got bought extra health, just to have a bit more health. And then I was gonna go for, like, you know, another 6k item. And the Bebop is too far, so we get the kill on him. And now I know we can just walk in. I'm getting stunned, so I'm playing it kind of safe because I realize he can grab me. So I back out. Moon Krill is too far. He ends up dying, and now I know we can just run in. And that was a good cube by my... Viscous, but like, again... At this point, we're so unkillable, it doesn't even matter. I think even without the cube, we're fine. And yeah, that's the game. So, that seems like a really simple playstyle. And it is, don't get me wrong, it's not that hard. But in the end, it's just overpowered. I think it's broken, I think it needs fixing, but it's so much fun. It is infuriating if you're on the enemy team, but I truly think this is like one of the best ways to play Infernus. And I really would encourage you to try this playstyle. Go for the Dash build. I hope that was somewhat helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And until next time, see you friends, bye bye.